Hello, everybody. Um, Today's a different kind of video. A lot of you, a lot of you may know my story if you are friends and family that are watching, but this is for everybody who is not close to me. I just wanted to share my journey through life, depression, and suicidal thoughts, so that maybe I can inspire, motivate, and be the guiding light, somebody's survival guide to somebody else's life. So for me, it all started when I was 9 years old. Uh, I was born with albinism. I couldn't see. I couldn't see really well. I had big bifocal glasses, and my skin's really pale. My eyes move back and forth. My head tends to also do the same. Um, and before that, before school, because it really started in school, I didn't really have any idea of anything. I guess I didn't have any ideas of of myself. I just thought I was Dijon in this world. I didn't really have any I didn't have any ideas of anything, to be honest. I didn't think of myself in any type of way. I just thought of myself as just like every other kid. I didn't look at my vision as different or anything like that. But so, uh, going to school, I met a plethora of different kids, and I stood out. I was the one who couldn't see. I was the one whose eyes moved back and forth, whose head moved back and forth. I was the one who, why is his skin pale? So pretty much I was bullied from the fourth grade. I remember hints of being bullied when I was like younger, but for me, it really started in like the fourth grade. I remember in the third grade being the one by himself in the third grade, and I was sad about that. But where it really started was the fourth grade. So, fourth grade, I believe I was 9 years old, and yes, that's when the bullying started for me. That's when all the kids kept making fun of me. No kids played with me. Didn't have too many friends, and over the course of time, that slowly started to dawn. Like it became really heavy. It wasn't something I liked. I got really sad, and it turned into depression. And as a 9 year old kid, I didn't know how to handle it at all. I didn't know. I told the teachers, I told like all other people at the school, and no one really seemed to do anything about it. They just told me to go play, go play over there, or just go do something else. Go play over there. They wasn't. They never really addressed anything that I really said. They just kind of brushed it under the rug, and that was the end of that. Uh, but this seemed to take a really large effect on me. So much so that at 9 years old was the first time that I decided that taking my own life was probably better than going back to school. That was, and I wasn't I wasn't like extremely like I wasn't like super religious. It was there, but I struggled with that too, because I couldn't understand how I couldn't understand how I could be bullied. I didn't understand how I could be bullied. So religion was there, but depression was there, and suicidal thoughts were there. And when I was 9, that was the first time that I thought about it, and I definitely tried. I always told myself just to do it when everybody was asleep. I thought that was like, I don't know. I thought that was like the way. I don't know. I wasn't really thinking. I'm 9. I didn't really have the thoughts that I have now. I didn't have the knowledge that I have now. So instead of really like venting to others, because people really didn't listen, um, I kind of just held all this in. So my first attempt, I tried it, but I wimped out. I guess I didn't go through with it, which added on to my depression even more, because then I told myself a story that I wanted to take myself out, but I was too scared to do it. So then now I'm too scared. Now I'm too scared. So that added to my depression. So I kept going through school, mm, getting bullied, and still feeling sad, still holding it all in, not really ever dealing with it, not really telling anybody. And I thought at some point in my life, I thought that, like, when I was young, I thought that having a girlfriend or getting a girl to like you would cure my depression and would delete all of the thoughts in my head that I had made up, that I told myself, and that I believed. Um, I thought that having a girlfriend would fix all of that, and I was 1,000,000% wrong. And it was probably the worst time for me to even try to start trying to hope that a girl could help me. Not when I was like 9, but uh, as I started to go up through the grades, like junior high, all the other guys are getting girls that like them, and then I'm the one who's getting bullied. So it is very unlikely that a girl is going to like the kid who gets bullied by everybody in the school. Yeah, it was pretty rough. And then that also added to my depression, because now um, no girls like me, and girls are liking these other guys. So now, what is wrong with me? If I didn't already have that thought before, now this thought arises that what is wrong with me? Why am I not likable? Why am I not this, that? So, um, yeah, that added to my depression. And the thoughts of suicide were constant when I was a kid. I used to think about it all the time. I used to, there was some points in time where I even prayed that something else would take me out, since wasn't strong enough to do it. Um, I remember my second attempt. I used to go to this church camp when I was a child, and I remember when we went to the church one night and we all were listening, and we all went to there to sing the church songs and stuff. I remember break out crying because, I was sitting in the back. I wasn't sitting by everybody. I was like introverted, I guess. I didn't really want to, I wasn't out around a lot of people. So I sat in the back, and I remember I started crying, and everybody was like, "Dijon, what's wrong?" And I was just telling them that when I got home from camp, I was going to kill myself, and that no one was going to be able to stop me. I was going to wait till everybody was asleep in my house, and I was just going to go in the kitchen and grab the knife and then just be done with it. Because because at church camp, I believe I liked somebody. And I couldn't tell if they liked me back. And I don't think they did. I don't believe that they did. And that just made me sad again. When I was at church camp, when we went to the little playground, I didn't really play with anybody. I kind of sat by myself. Nobody came over to me to see what was wrong. They kind of just let me sit there by myself. So whenever I didn't have to be with the group, I usually wasn't with the group. And it was just a whole nother just a whole nother thing. Like, it was just, I have been dealing with this for so long, and now I'm older, and now it's still going on. I'm still getting bullied. I got bullied. That bullying didn't stop till to my mid-20s, and I'm in like junior high now. And my third attempt, and I'm struggling with depression. And see, my out of school life, it wasn't there wasn't that much bullying unless I seen kids from school. Because some of the friends that I went to school, some of the friends I played with outside of school didn't go to my school, so I didn't have to deal with any of the bullying. But a lot of the neighborhood kids, excuse me, a lot of the neighborhood kids, they went to my school, and when they would see me outside in public, they would say the typical things that they would say to me while I was in school. But I didn't really deal with it too much outside of school. It was just that I had to go to school every day. It would get to the point where sometimes I would fake being sick because I just didn't want to hear bobblehead, or you're adopted, or you're not black because my skin is pale, I have no pigment. I didn't want to hear that every day. So there would be times where I would try my hardest, and sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. And while I was in school, sometimes I would do things to get people's attention, to uh, maybe they ask me if I'm okay, or something. I guess I was sick and tired of having to go to other people to say, "Hey, I'm sad," or something. I wanted someone to notice it without me having to bring it up. But no, it didn't. That didn't really work. I would do stupid little stunts, and that I thought that the kids would be laughing with me, but they were laughing at me, and all the stunts were really just to distract me from the last kid who just said something about my eyes shaking, the thing that I cannot control. Like, that played another big part, another big role into my depression, and why I eventually started to hate myself. I didn't, like I said, when I was young, I didn't really have an idea of like hate, but over the course of time, over the course of what people were saying to me, and me believing what they said, because they said it 1,000 times. At this point, it must be true. If I didn't believe it the first time, the 1,000th time they have said it, I've definitely believed it. And I hated myself. I hated myself to the core. I didn't like my name. People made fun of my name. I didn't like my skin. I didn't even like being in this body. I wanted a different life. I didn't want to be here. I used to wish I was never born. I used to wish that I died, that something else would take me out. I used to wish that I would walk across the street and I'd get hit. Sometimes I'd walk across the street and with my eyes closed, just in the hopes that I hope that there's a car coming and that it hits me hard enough that I don't wake up. That this is the last time I close my eyes and they stay closed forever. And a lot of these thoughts were when I was a kid, mind you. I was a child. And like I said, this stayed with me. The bullying, the depression, the thoughts, this all stayed with me. for years. In high school, I did get a girlfriend, and the bullying didn't stop there. Uh, I still got picked on. People still said smart shit. Um, but I did get a girlfriend in high school. But there was a time where I believe that there was a football game going on, and I didn't go to the game, but my friend did, and my girlfriend at the time was also there. But I remember sitting on my porch, and I was just really sad, and I called my friend, and I was telling him that I thought about hurting myself. And then now when I look back at it, because at the time I didn't notice, because like I said, I thought that a girl would save me from this madness, but I didn't really see that. Even though that I had a girl, I wasn't saved from the madness in my head. The madness was still going on. As much as she liked me and was around me, it didn't really even, it deleted some of the madness, but it didn't delete all of the madness. It just deleted the part of the madness that said, and it didn't even delete it. It kind of just brushed it under the rug. And the part that was brushed under the rug was if you don't have a girl, you can't be happy. So I had a girl, so I thought that I was going to be okay. But I didn't realize till I got older that I was still depressed when I had the first girlfriend, the second girlfriend, and the third girlfriend. I was still depressed during all of those times. And I remember that night sitting on my step that I called them. They came over and, we hung out. And I think we went back down to the game. And I think that when I went to the game, somebody called me a name when they saw me walking up to the bleachers. But yeah, it was pretty shitty. Like, the earlier years of my life were pretty, this is awful. It was awful. I hated it. I hated it. I hated everything. I didn't really like too much of anything. I didn't really, the thing that really took me away from a lot of it was playing video games. I would just try to stay home, and I would try to play video games as much as possible, because there was a certain game that I liked, and I was like, man, this kept me away from everything up here. And because of that, sometimes, so instead now I'm trying to skip school so I can play the game, so that now I can get away from this. Because I used to be, I'm trying to get away from them. But now that is up here. And now I want to get away from this. So now I want to play video games. And because video games it distracts me from this. The commotion that's going on up here distracts me. So I would try to skip school to play games. And when I was home, I would play games as much as I could. So I wouldn't even try to do homework, because homework just reminded me of school. Because at school, I would get picked on. From the second I would walk into the school to the second I would leave the school, somebody would say something about something that I could not control. I couldn't control that I couldn't see. I couldn't control that my skin was pale and that I had no pigment. I couldn't control that. I couldn't control my head moving back and forth. I couldn't control my eyes moving back and forth. And these were the things that to the other kids were weird and funny or stupid, and they thought that they get a good laugh out of it. But I hated it. I hated it so much. I hated it so much. It was I don't even know what to call it. I don't even know how to describe it anymore. It was just awful. It was literally the worst. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. It was I don't even know. I literally am like speechless when I think about all of the things that this kid said to me and how it made me feel. It was horrible. I don't even know. Like, it's so sad. I feel like crying right now because like they like I really want to emphasize this. Imagine going to school from 9 years old, from the fourth grade. From the fourth grade to the eighth grade. Just imagine this. Going into school every day. And kids picking on you for something that you cannot control and that you didn't see a problem with only until they've said it a million times. So after a million times, it must be true. Why would they keep saying it? Me thinking about that makes me want to cry right now. It really does. It was really hard for me I didn't know what do you do when you're a kid and you feel sad. But everywhere you go, it doesn't seem like anybody cares, especially your teachers. Where do you in school? Where do you go? What do you do? How do you? I didn't know what to do. I just held it all in and thought that if I acted like it didn't bother me, then it didn't bother me. But it really bothered me. It truly did. It truly bothered me so much so that I wanted to kill myself 4 times. I tried 4 times to kill myself. The youngest time I was 9, like I said, and the fourth time, which is the time that I'm on right now, in the story that I'm telling, is when now I'm out of school. I tried college twice. That didn't work. That also added to my depression because now I looked at myself as a failure. I couldn't even finish secondary learning or secondary education, with aka college. So that added to my depression. So, also, my dad passed away right before I went to college. And he was the one who raised me my whole life. And so now I'm sad because I hate myself. And now the person that raised me to be tough, which is why I was able to carry all of it for so long, isn't here. And I never told my dad anything about me being sad. He never knew. And sometimes I still think about that. But I learned my lesson. I learned a lesson from that. But yes, my dad passed right after I graduated and right before I went to college. He passed. So now I hate myself. I want to leave. And now my father's not here. So I extra don't care about nothing now. I extra don't care. Extra. I don't care about nothing. Now it's like whoa, well, what? What now? Why even try? What is the goal? What? Of what? What? Of what? Like what is the purpose? Well, I don't even know at the moment. I didn't know. I had no idea. Couldn't even think of one. Didn't even want to be here anymore. But I thugged it out. I held it all in still. I definitely cried about it. Cried to my friends, which I should have never expected them to be able to heal me. I'm sorry to any of my friends who I was mad at because they couldn't cure me. They couldn't fix my depression. They couldn't take it away. I apologize for even placing that on you. That is an impossible task. You can't do that. That wasn't something that you were capable of doing. But at the time, with the knowledge that I had, I thought that that was what your loved ones were for. I thought that they could take it away, but they could not do it. And I got mad at them. I stopped talking to them because I expected them to do so, and I'm sorry. I know I've probably said sorry, but this is me saying I'm sorry for placing that burden on you because I don't know how that made you feel. Now I'm mad at you because you were unable to make me happy. And I don't know how that made you feel. So this is me telling you that I am sorry. So if you're watching this and you were one of the few people that I took my anger out on and was stopped talking to you at the time because I placed an expectation on you, I apologize. I truly, 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 truly apologize for that. And so I'm older now. Still, people are saying shit. I have a job. I worked at Michael's, the arts and crafts store. And there was one day where I came home and I just walked in my room and I shut the door. And I just was like, you know, it's just everything just sucks. Everything, everything just didn't, like I said, I've had girlfriends. Obviously, none of them worked out. That added to it extremely. And I just sat down in my chair right here. This had to be, what was it? It's 2020. I was 26. So 2017. Probably 2017, 2016, 2017. And I sat here and I said I was going to today. That day it was in October. I don't know exactly when. Was it October? I believe it was October or September, but probably October. But I told myself that was the last day. That day was the last day, and something came to my brain. Um, One of my favorite artists, Kid Cudi. He has a song called "Love," which I have tatted on my knuckles. Um, he has a song called "Love," and in that song, he says that we have to find another way. And when I sat here and I was like, "Today's the end of it. Today's the last day," I sat here and thought that maybe there's another way. I've tried the positive thinking. I tried religion. I was definitely closed-minded when I was younger, but I tried to do those little things to see if they worked, but they didn't work for me. They didn't work for me. So after I heard him say that lyric in my head, and I put the song on, and after I listened to it, I said that today is not the last day. Today is going to be the first day that I sit down and I look for a way to really get out of this, this hole that I have crawled really, really far deep in, and I couldn't find my way out. So I started searching. I searched and searched. And then I came across this guy who told me two things. He said that what he's about to say wasn't going to work if I wasn't open-minded. I had to drop all the walls, all the barriers. I had to just open my mind to this idea. And that was something I really never did, ever, at all. I would always have them up while I was trying to figure out different ways to fix it, but I never, ever, ever really dropped them all and was completely open to all these different ideas. And the second thing he told me was to not believe or trust anything that he said, and that I had to find out for myself if it was true. Which no one has ever said that to me in my, at the time, 25, 26 years on this earth. No one's ever said that to me. So I heard that and I said, whoa, that's different. I like different things. I pull to things that are seemingly different than the normal. But what's normal? So I did both of those. I dropped everything. I dropped my entire defense mechanisms. I dropped all of it because at that time I really wanted to. I wanted to go, but I didn't want to go. I felt like I could make it. I could make it if I try. And then all the other times I wasn't trying hard enough, that I didn't care about myself or this life as much as I, in this moment, in that moment when I sat there 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I sat in this room, in this chair. I think that was the first time I gave a fuck about myself in a long time. And I cared about myself so much I cared about myself that I never cared about myself that much before until that moment. It was like, I really wanted to do this. So I started to watch this guy's videos, and everything he said, just like he said, I had to discover for myself if it was true. And it all just started popping in my head. I just started going, whoa. And I started questioning every little thing that happened ever since I was 9. I started questioning all the hate I had for myself. I started questioning all the hate I had for other people. I started questioning every thought every story that I told myself. I started to question all of it. And that was the day that everything changed, and all those thoughts, all those suicide, that day where I planned on killing myself, it left. I didn't want to. It left. The depression, a large majority of it left. It just vanished. After I discovered that none of the stories that I believed, none of the stories that I told myself, none of them were true. I discovered that none of them were true. Not a single one of them, and they vanished. Poof. Vanished. Gone. And I just sat there in amazement. I just sat there. I sat there silently for I don't know how long. And that was the day that I beat depression. That was the day that I beat depression. That was the day that I beat all of the suicidal thoughts that I had conjured up from the age of 9 to the age of, I believe it was 25 or 26. That was the day that I beat it. And from that day forward, I wanted to share my story. I wanted to make sure that anybody else who was going through depression or suicidal thoughts, um, I wanted to be their good guiding light, their survival guide. I wanted to be there for those people, and so I created this YouTube. I started to post all this encouraging stuff to get the people's mind going, to hopefully they open themselves up like I did. I created a page on YouTube. I have a page on Facebook, 2 pages on Facebook, a website that I'm trying to start up with a friend again. We had one, it went down, and we're trying to start it back up again. And I just wanted to make this video because I've said it on Facebook a million times. I've gave my version of the story over and over. So I don't know if there's people who would be sick and tired of seeing things like this. If there are people like that, then this video is not for you. This video is for I just wanted to get my story out there for the masses, to whoever may watch this. And this YouTube video is my survival guide that I am now sharing with you, so that you don't have to kill yourself because of anything, because I wanted to. And now, sitting here thinking about all the things I have, that I wouldn't have had none of these things that I love so much if I would have killed myself when I was younger, or that day, or any of the days that I decided to. I wouldn't have any of this. I wouldn't even be able to make this video. I wouldn't be able to help as many people that I helped ever since I started trying to help people. And I am grateful for the life that I have, for the air that is in my lungs, for the roof that is over my head, for the friends that I have, for the mindset that I have. I'm happy. I am happy that I'm here. I am happy. I am grateful. I love it. I love it. I love it all. I'm in love with life now. I used to hate it so much. I wanted to kill myself. I didn't want to be here. I wanted to check out every day. And now I love it. I love every second of it. And I hope that whoever's watching this, if you are going through depression and suicidal thoughts, I know there are a multitude of different avenues. This is the way that I beat it, which is looking at the root. The core that I believe is the root is your thoughts. The way that I beat it, that's just one way. There are a plethora of ways to deal with trauma, and I hope that this way can help you. Maybe it can. Yeah, I love you.